So everything we're going to show you today, we're going to put links in the description below the video, and you're going to see it on our website on the gear page. So catchaoutdoors.com/gear, and you'll see it in there. So you can click either the links on the description or check out the website. Either one is great. They both support our channel. So if you're going to buy it anyway,
yeah, buy it from us.
Yeah, support the channel. We appreciate it. It goes a long way to help us produce these videos. So without further ado, here's our gear. So you guys have asked us several times to post a gear dump video and show what we like to use in the field. So that's what we're doing today. We're finally getting around to it. So let's jump right in. This gear is backpack hunting gear. So we're going to go through basically what's in our pack for anything from an overnighter to what, 4 or 5 days or so.
Yeah.
Kind of covers all the bases. So.
Well, let's start with the pack first. We've got a couple different packs. I have 2 different backpacks, but they're on the same suspension system. So it's the KUIU suspension pack frame, all that kind of stuff. And then I switched the pack out. I've got a 3800 that I use for day packing. We're just hiking into someplace, hiking from the truck or whatever. But then my backpacking bag, and this doesn't have the frame on it, so it's just a big bag at this point. And a lot of guys are going to say this is overkill. It's the 7800. It's a huge bag. I think it's the biggest one that KUIU makes.
Yeah.
But my philosophy is, I think the weight difference between this bag and like a couple sizes down is only like 5 ounces or 4 ounces or something like that. So my thought process is, I'd rather have the available space, because sometimes you have big light things like sleeping bags and stuff that you're stuffing in there and they take up a lot of space, but they're not that heavy. I mean, yeah, you can overload a bag this big because it's huge and just keep stuffing stuff in there until it's like 70 pounds and you're wondering why you're doing it. But that's the bag that I run most of the time for overnight stuff and extended spike out stuff. So if we're going 3 or 4 days, have all the room I need. It's great.
So similar to Ben, I have the larger KUIU pack, and this is the Ultra 7000. So I think it's an older model that they don't sell anymore, but similar sizing to the 7800. Yeah, it's a big pack, but it compresses down to next to nothing, and it's still really light. If I want to compress it down to a day pack, it's fine, and it'll hold enough gear for a week, 10 days in the backcountry, no problem. So that's what I run.
So let's get into what our base, like, so your sleep system. You have a pretty light sleep system. These are areas you can really save on weight. That's your main, I mean, you're going to have a sleep system no matter what. No matter what kind of hiking, camping you're doing, you have to have something to sleep under and a sleeping bag to sleep in.
Yeah. And
preferably a sleeping pad, or you're going to be pretty miserable.
So let's talk about money. The better you get with your gear, it's going to cost you more money. So yeah, you can save money. You can go to Walmart and get yourself a bag, a sleeping bag. You can go to Walmart and get yourself a pack, and you'll do okay. You're going to have more weight, less efficiency, less performance. So the more money you pay, the better quality product you get. It's just, there's no getting around it. That being said, so sleep systems, I actually just got this and use it for the first time. It's the Climaloft. So it has a foam pad on top of the air pad. Super comfortable. So I've been really impressed. I had the Climate Static V before this, and that's also a good pad. I've had no issues with it, no leaks or anything. I used it for 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I still use that pad. It's great.
So that's what I'm running for a sleeping pad. I think you have the Climate as well.
Yeah. The Static V. I have the standard size one.
So I run 2 different sleep systems. One is a warm weather, and one is a colder weather. So this is my early season sleep system. This is the Zen Bivy quilt. I've talked about it in a couple other videos in the past. This thing weighs nothing. Now, it's not going to keep you warm on a really cold night. I think I've had it down to mid 40s, and I had a little bit of a chill. So, but anything above that, which we hunt hot weather a lot, especially with archery, so no issues at all. It's super comfortable. They call it buttery soft on the website, and it's buttery soft. It's like jumping into margarine. So yeah, it's great. I like having the quilt because I can kick it off if I get hot. It compresses down, it'll expand. It's just a great option. And then for my cold weather setup is the Nemo Disco, the 15 degree. And we were just in Idaho, and I think we got pretty close to 15 degrees on a couple of the nights, maybe
Yeah, it was
low
pretty
20s.
chilly.
And this held up great. So if it's zipped all the way up and your head's in the pouch and everything, you're going to stay plenty warm. And the thing I like about it, I'm a big guy, so this has like a peanut shape. So it's great for someone with a wider shoulder because it'll zip around your shoulder. A lot of mummy bags are just too tight across the shoulders. But this shape allows for movement in your feet and your shoulders, and it compresses down to this. I mean, this is nothing. So, and it's super light. So that's my sleep system.
So the bag I've been running for quite a while actually is just, I mean, it's $100 Kelty bag. It's a 30-degree bag, but like we said, for 90% of the hunting we do, you know, we're in warmer climates. So even if it gets down to, you know, low 40s, upper 30s, I've always been comfortable in this bag, never had an issue. It's just getting to the point where it's wearing out though. Everything's kind of getting smashed, the artificial down and everything's getting smashed. So I'm getting ready to buy a new bag, and I'm probably going to be getting the Sea to Summit Ascent bag. It's a really great bag, and I'm probably going to be getting it like in the 15-degree variety. So I don't have that bag right now, but before next season I'll have it, and update you guys on what I think about it after I use it. So, but that's my bag that I run for right now, and it's done great, like I said, for warm weather. I wouldn't get a bag that's a 30-degree bag for cold weather, but if you plan on doing warm weather stuff, it works out good. So, and then tents, I've been using this tent. This is Alps Mountaineering, and it's a little bit heavy for a backpacking tent. I think this tent's like 4 pounds, something like that. One person tent, and it's a floored tent and everything, so it's a little bit heavier than like a bivvy tent. But it's great. I haven't had any issues with it. I mean, one of the last hunts we went on, it was full of water, but that's because we had this misty kind of rain. It was like coming up under there was no way to get out of it.
And
I don't care what you had.
the wind was just whipping the rain flies around like crazy, and it's just splashing. The water was splashing in. It was a mess.
It was rough, but I've been in weather several times with it. It's done great, and it's a pretty affordable tent. I think this one is like on the cheaper side,
$130.
Yeah, $140, something like that. So it's a great tent to start out with if you don't have the money to get a tent like Clayton just invested in.
So I had a one-person tent for a long time, a very similar model to Ben's. But I just found, for me, being the size that I am, I was so cramped in there that it was really uncomfortable. But upgrading to the 2-man in the same model, it was going to be somewhere around 6 pounds. So it was just really heavy. So I invested in the Sea to Summit Alto TR2, and this weighs less than my 1-man tent, and it's a 2-man tent, and it compresses down to these 2 sacks. Plus you have your light infuser bar, and all the tent stakes are inside here. And then there's a lot of cool features about this tent. It's not completely freestanding, so you have to stake it out. But these 2 compression sacks act as storage containers, so they hang in the corner of the tents, and you can put your gear inside of them. It has a big spacious foyer, and the shape of the tent allows you to sit up. So for taller people, it's really nice because you get that head space. So that's the tent I'm running.
Okay, so as far as clothing goes, we generally run mostly all KUIU stuff. We get a lot of people commenting about how expensive it is and all this kind of thing, and you're right, the KUIU clothing is expensive. We have Clayton's got some Under Armour stuff, I've got some Under Armour, we've got a mixed bag, but mostly we've kind of converted to all KUIU stuff because we've just found that gear works really well, and it works great for us. Also, I live pretty close to the KUIU outlet, so I get a lot of the stuff discounted. And that's another factor. Like, people think that we just went out and, like, last year completely outfitted ourselves with all this expensive gear that you see, and that's totally not the case. Like, I've been buying KUIU equipment for 5 years, one little piece at a time, and getting it for...
And our families know we love it, so
right.
Gift cards, birthday gifts, Christmas gifts, yeah.
So you don't have to be like a super rich guy to just start slowly investing in your equipment. Like, yeah. It's important to have quality stuff. It helps you stay longer and be more comfortable while you're there. So we run pretty much all KUIU clothing, and it works great for us.
So a good example of why it's important to invest a little bit. We were in Idaho just a few weeks ago, and it was frigid cold. It was in the teens, and there was a heavy wind, and we're sitting on top of a wide open bowl, so no trees, just completely exposed to the elements. And the gear we had, our puffers, our shells, our base layers, they were all Kuyu. And that in those moments, you're glad you invested the money, because it can be miserable and borderline dangerous when you're in those kinds of elements and you don't have the right gear.
Well, it just allows us to be there when other people can't.
Exactly.
And that's if you need every edge you can get, especially in like low population areas or areas like California. The hunting can be really hard. You need every edge you can get to stay out there longer and go when other people can't.
Yeah. So a kill kit. So your kill kit is the next crucial piece of gear. You're going out to the field expecting to get something, so you've got to be prepared. So this is these are the Allen backcountry quarter bags. I really like the material of the Allen bags versus like a mesh bag, because I feel like you get more protection with your meat, less exposure to dirt, hair, bugs, but you still get that breathability, and they're washable. So when I'm done using them, I'll just throw my stuff in the washer with some bleach, and it comes out like new. I can use them again. So in my kill kit, I just use the case that the bags come in. So in my kill kit, I of course have my game bags, but I also keep a few pairs of rubber gloves for a clean work environment. So I use an outdoor edge knife. I really like the replaceable blade knives. Ben, you like to use a fixed blade. So
yeah, I use a replaceable blade sometimes as well. It's nice to have, especially with really thick skinned game like elk. When you're skinning them, I mean, that'll dull a regular blade in a heartbeat. And it's nice to be able to just skin it and then throw the blade away and then go to cutting meat with a fresh, clean blade. You also need, I mean, good things to have in your kill kit are zip ties, because you're going to be zip tying tags to the antler, hopefully. And then you need a pen or a pencil to fill out your tag with if you're in California. Other states, it's mostly just by using a knife and cutting notches. Just little helpful things to have.
And I like to keep a tarp. This isn't a big tarp. I think it's like a 2 by 3 foot, but it compresses down to this. It's out right now because it's dirty and I got to wash it from the last hunt. But it compresses down to this little stuff sack and weighs just a few ounces. It really is nice when you're cutting up your meat because it gives you a clean working surface, as opposed to just dropping your meat on the ground or sticking it in a bush or something. So this is my kill kit. So gloves, bags, knife, tarp, and the pen and zip ties. That's it.
My kill kit's pretty much the same. I just usually have like this little kit of a couple fixed blade knives that I keep in it, and they're handy to have because I can resharpen them if something happens to my replaceable blade knife, or I run out of blades or whatever. I always have the old tried and true, and you got a pocket knife. So worst case scenario, you can clean anything with a pocket knife. Okay, so let's talk about food and food storage. I use a Kuyu dry bag. You can use a dry bag from anyone, but these are super lightweight, and with their roll top system, when you roll it, it has a little seal on it, and you can tell it's airtight. So it keeps the scent locked in there pretty good, so we can just hang this directly in a tree when we're out hunting, so keep the bears away, and just pick the size that works for you. So they're super lightweight, they're really convenient, and then just stuff it in your bag. And your food also, I mean, if your backpack gets soaked, it's nice that your food stuffs aren't getting soaked either.
Similar to Ben, I don't run the roll top. I have the zip dry bags, but it's a similar setup. They're really light. And then I like to keep my cook system all together. So I've got my jet boil. I love the jet boil. It's amazingly light for what it does. It boils water really quickly. I keep a really lightweight mug for coffee and hot chocolate and whatever.
If you're in the backcountry, you need a jet boil, period. There's no system that's better. If you haven't used a jet boil before, it's super easy. It all stows inside. If you get the right size fuel canister, the little ones, that will go inside as well. So you've got everything in this compact package, and the thing boils water in 30 seconds. So you just boil water, you dump it in whatever you're using, or you can cook stuff inside of it if you want. I don't like to do that. I keep mine clean, so I boil the water and then dump it in whatever I'm eating out of. It's great. Yeah. You got to have one.
Yeah. And something that we'll bring sometimes is a lightweight bowl. Of course, you're going to bring a spoon. Bring a long stem spoon so you can stick it in those freeze-dried meal bags and stir without getting your hands in there. But sometimes I'll bring a bowl and I'll do oatmeal and stuff like that. It's easy to clean, has a lid on it, and it weighs 2 ounces or something. It's really light. So that's my food system.
All right, so another important thing about staying alive back there is water. So wherever you can utilize the water that's there, creeks and seeps and all that kind of stuff, that's what we do. A lot of stuff in California, you'll see us packing a ton of water in though because it's really dry. But I use the Sawyer squeeze system. You fill this thing up with water out of the stream or wherever, and then you just screw it onto here and squeeze it out into your water bottle. Super simple, really lightweight and compact. I just kind of roll it up and then I stick it in a Ziploc bag and it goes in my backpack. And I have it, even when I'm just got a day pack, I've always got this because access to potable water is critical.
Yeah. So I like to run a pump filter. And this is a little bit of an older model, so it's a little bigger and bulkier. It's the Catadin Vario. Now I have the link on our website to the newer model that's smaller, more compact, and lighter, but it's the same basic concept. So you actually pump on the way up and the way down, so the flow is really fast. I like the Sawyer too. It's definitely lighter. It doesn't filter as quickly. So if you have a lot of water, you're trying to fill up all your bottles in one spot. Having just the squeeze can take a long time, whereas having a pump too can really make it go a lot quicker.
This is usually our go-to when we're filtering water for everyone at camp or something.
Yeah.
We'll go down to a creek and we'll take this thing and fill everything up in 10 minutes. If you were doing it with the Sawyer, it would take an hour. But it's good for when you don't have anything else, or it's just always there and it's really lightweight. So okay, so as far as water goes, a lot of guys use water bottles. I actually use water bottles sometimes too. Especially the kind that you can just collapse into nothing, because sometimes it's just nice to drink out of a water bottle, or if you're going to be adding water to food or water to your jet boil to cook, I always keep a water bottle or two handy. But this is my water bladder. There's a bunch of different ones out there. Get whatever kind you want to get. Whatever one you get, make sure it has a valve on it, because I can't tell you how many times we've had our packs soaked with a water bladder that doesn't have a valve. It's miserable. I keep mine inside of this Kuyu, I think it's called a stalker pack, and it's cool because if you want to just go on a stalk, and we do during hot weather a lot of times, it's nice that you just take this thing with you, stick it on your back, and there's a couple little zippers on here. You can stick snacks and stuff in there. So sometimes you'll be on a stalk for 3 or 4 hours. So pretty clutch feature there. But yeah, make sure you get a bladder with a valve. It's a must-have.
Also, get a valve with this lid.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you how many times, because mine doesn't have a lid, and I've taken my pack off, set it on the ground, it goes falls on the ground along with my straw, and my straw is just covered in dirt.
Miserable.
So it's happened countless times. So get a straw with a lid on it. For water bottles, I like to bring a plastic bottle too. One of the main reasons I like to bring a plastic, like a 16-ounce bottle that I can reuse, is Mountain Ops, the trail packs. I love using them. They have anything from like to help you sleep, to help you wake up, and then your energy. You've got pre-workout, you've got the Ignite, great flavors.
Let's be honest, it's just nice to taste something out there sometimes,
Exactly.
too, other than just water for 7 days straight.
It's really nice when you're tired and it's 11 a.m. The morning buzz is over. Throwing that Ignite in your water bottle, it's awesome. So I like to bring these Hydra packs. They collapse down to the size of a can of breath mints, and they weigh nothing. And I have this 2 liter and I have a 3 liter, so I can fill them up if I need some extra water. And it only costs me a couple of ounces, and I can get up to 5 liters out of it. So I like to run those as well as my bladder and a bottle or two.
There's a few items that are not 100% necessary, and we've got a few of them here. One of them is this chair. You've seen us use this chair in videos if you've watched any of our stuff. This is like a $30 or $40 Amazon chair, and it's 2 pounds, and I gladly pack it. Because when you're sitting out there, especially if it had just rained or it's dewy or snowy or whatever, or if you just want a chair to sit in, it's so nice to just sit in a chair, like rather than just sitting on the ground. So we're gonna link these things. We're gonna link all this stuff that we're showing you, but get the chair. It's so worth it. It's just nice to have. Just
knock off 2 pounds on something else and bring a chair. You'll be glad you did.
If you don't bring a chair, or decide you don't want to bring a chair, bring something like that.
So this little piece of foam, I don't imagine will last very long. but it literally cost me like, I think it was $3. It folds up. It's a four-fold. It weighs nothing. It's like a feather. But just having this little bit of foam when you're sitting glassing, or if you don't bring a chair and you're at camp, makes all the difference in the world. You can stuff it anywhere. Trekking poles. I know some guys don't like to use them. I do. So I've had knee problems in the past, and when you got heavy weight, having these makes a huge difference. It can help you get up and down hills. And I've read studies, it takes a good percentage of weight off of your joints, your knees, your hips, having these poles. So
it's like Brian Caw. I think I saw in a Brian Caw video once. He says it's like putting the human body in 4-wheel drive, and it really is.
There you go.
It helps a lot.
Yeah.
You really need to have them if you're packing meat in steep terrain anyway for stability. It can be dangerous, you know, if you're just on your legs only and you've got, you know, 100-pound plus pack. I mean, that's dangerous.
I remember when Ben shot his elk a couple years ago, we made the foolish decision to try to take it out in one load, which we didn't last that long, but
quarter mile.
Yeah, but our packs were so heavy, an entire bull elk with 2 packs, and plus our gear that we had. So we both had trekking poles, and if I didn't, we were walking through mud.
Yeah.
So if we didn't have trekking poles, I mean, who knows what could happen. So
one of the important things about being out there is, you know, always being safe, and depending on the conditions you're in, you want to always have the ability to make fire. Like, most of the time we're not trying to make fire out there because it can be a problem in the forest. But if it's cold conditions and, you know, it's okay to make a fire, it's something that's great. It picks up morale too. You know, if you're sitting and glassing in a really cold glassing point for hours, you make a little fire, it really helps you out. And it could save your life making a fire. So I always keep a lighter in my hip pouch and Strike Anywhere matches somewhere in my backpack. But I also always keep one of these. It is a flare. This thing will light no matter what, and it'll burn at like 2,000 degrees for like a half hour. So you will make a fire no matter what with this, you know, in any conditions. However wet it is, it doesn't matter. You can make a fire. So it's just a few ounces. It's one of those things that can be cut if you're cutting weight on a serious, you know, trip. But I like to have it. It's a peace of mind.
So there's a few other things that we use that we decided not to put in this video just because it's highly subjective, and honestly there's a lot of different ways you can go and get the same level of performance out of. For example, your med kit. So you need to bring a first aid kit. Just buy the lightest, most comprehensive one you can find that has your basics, you know, your medicines, your bandages, your
like
antiseptics,
a blood clot package,
blood clot, yeah, little wraps and stuff. That's something you can get anywhere, really.
All the little tiny things, obviously you got a little piece of rope in there somewhere, some duct tape, all those little small details, you know. But, you know, comment if you got questions on other things that we didn't hit in the video, or things that you put in your backpack that maybe we don't. Put them in the comments, and it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
We'll answer any questions that we can.
Maybe you bring something that, you know, we haven't thought of, so we'd like to hear from you. A few other things are, like, I like to bring a pair of slippers. I just find the lightest slippers I can at like Walmart and just throw them away at the end of each trip. But just having that pair of slippers you can throw on after a 10-mile hike to wear around camp.
I like to wear Crocs. Crocs are super lightweight, and they work well, and they last for a while. So I'll usually throw Crocs on the back of my backpack and tie them on with string or something. Also for crossing creeks. If you're going to cross creeks a lot, it's nice to have something that you don't have to get your boots wet.
Yeah. And then there's other things too, like a good pair of gaiters, and then your electronics. We run a few different types of power banks, so that's another personal preference. Try to find something light, something that's reliable.
I like the Goal Zero ones.
Yeah, I like Jackery, makes a good one too. So yeah, there's a lot of little things like that. Of course, you're gonna have your toiletries, you know, toothbrush. Some guys will cut off their toothbrush to save an ounce. I don't know, I can carry an extra ounce, but that's personal preference.
So if we missed anything, or you guys think of anything, like I said, put it in the comments. Or if you have questions about any of our gear, put it in the comments. We'll do our best to answer. Most all this stuff is going to have a link in the bottom of the video description, so you can check it out yourself and go purchase it. If you do purchase it on our link, it helps the channel out a little bit. So if you're going to get the stuff anyway, might as well support us a little bit.